trash.
What changed? What made this shit
Trash, garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened throughout the time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with those.
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Like say you got to talk today. Okay.
And those are the words of Gervonta Tank Davis as he states that he's retiring. Boxing is trash right now. There's really not much for him to do. Maybe he's falling out of love with the sport. And let me counterpunch. This is not too surprising to me. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not. Okay, I'm not, simply based off the fact that I've heard Gervonta Tank Davis say certain things like, no, I would rather be on an island somewhere. He's made those comments. So what do you think that means? That means Gervonta Tank Davis wants to sit back, spend the money that he's made, and live off the fruits of his labor. As long as he can. He's a young man. He's like 30 years old. You know what I mean? Unless he does some stupid Floyd Money Mayweather things, he should be fine. You know what I mean? I think, he has enough money now to sit back and chill and relax, and not really be bothered. I think, the whole idea for anybody that's made that type of money in that short amount of time, especially based off of his refusal to do anything else or to go to another weight class, I think it's pretty much the formation, and he was going to go anyway. I saw it coming. Like Davis to me seems, he seems like he's just disinterested in boxing. I don't think he cares for it like that. He's not trying to be a Manny Pacquiao. He's not trying to be a Floyd Mayweather. He's not trying to do those things based off the money and the notoriety and all of that he's already obtained. You see what I mean? I just don't think that that's the case. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is a guy that just, he's tired of it. I mean, the guys that he could have fought, he didn't. And him responding to like Stevenson and going off on Stevenson. Well, he's like, well, what has Stevenson done? I'm not afraid of Stevenson. And to me, it's like he has to made that amount of money not to want to fight for money. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think him fighting Stevenson is not really even something that he cares about. And I don't see Stevenson beating him anyway. I see Tank eventually knocking him out, or it'll be a stinking type fight where Stevenson moves to avoid shots that make the fight what it's supposed to be versus what it could be. But fighting Stevenson is not the type of fight that he wants, not even for the money. Because I think that's how someone talks when they're not concerned about money. You know what I'm saying? Like him knocking out Frank Martin. Frank Martin, is a good fighter. He took out Rivera, right? Rivera was a guy that was on the incline, and now he's not. Come to find out, he was doing a little juice to get him a little loose, right? So, and he still got beat by the Ghost, and the Ghost got knocked out by Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a guy, though, it's sad because he has so much talent that he could have shared, but I don't think that he's interested or, wanting those fights, because those fights that he could have fought, the Haney's, the Teofimo Lopez's, he fought Ryan Garcia, which he might have been the lowest of the totem pole based on his drug admittance, right? So, those other fights, the Lomachenko fight that could have happened at 130, by the time it's 135, he didn't, Loma didn't want it no more. And then I think that was a big letdown for Tank too, because he's like, well, look, I at least wanted to fight him now because Floyd wouldn't allow him to fight him when he was at 130. Facts, okay? He didn't want that fight for Tank, So Tank, I think, is disinterested based on the way he was moved, okay? He was moved around on the chessboard like that. Okay, that's what I think. And I think because he doesn't want it no more. He doesn't want to fight no more. He has enough money. You know, and look, again, it's the way he was moved. You know, he didn't get the fights he should have fought. He should have fought Lopez a long time ago, Stevenson at 130. You know, he could have fought a lot of different fighters, Lomachenko at 130. Those fights didn't happen. And because they didn't happen, I think is the reason why Tank Davis is disinterested on top of getting all that money anyway for not even fighting them. So how hungry would you be if someone gives you a shitload of money to have light work or medium work and not the fights or the hard work that you want or should want to have? You know, how hungry will you be? You won't be. So I think that's the whole case and the whole point with the overall, reason for Tank Davis wanting to retire. You know, that's what I say about Tank. Again, magnificent talent. You know, would love to see him at 140 and tap really at 147. But yeah, because Manny did that. But it just shows you that someone like Manny cares more about his legacy than someone like Tank that cares more about his money. But of course, that's how he was moved. That's how he was brought up. That's how he was taught. That's how he was mentored. So you really can't be mad at Tank Davis. Be mad at the person that mentored Tank Davis. But you guys tell me what you think of Gervonta Tank Davis stating that he's retiring after 2025. Okay, because, you know, a lot of fights could happen. So let's see if they do happen. Hopefully they do. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.